Today we're going to take a closer look at Seaside, Oregon, specifically in the wintertime. Seaside is one of the most popular towns along the Oregon coast and consequently can get very congested, specifically in the summertime. So we get people that are thinking about moving here that wonder what it's like in the wintertime for some of these more popular towns like Seaside, Newport, Lincoln City. In this video, I'm going to show you. Hey everyone, welcome back to Living on the Oregon Coast. These condos that you're looking at are just across the street from Tillamook Head. So this is the southernmost part of Seaside, and the drone here is panning to the north. It's going to take us kind of through Seaside Cove, which is a quieter part of Seaside. Tillamook Head Trailhead that we're just coming from is also one of the most popular hikes along the Oregon coast. I don't know that it's a beginner hike. It's about 6 miles, and you go up at about 1,000 feet in elevation. A lot of old growth back there. If you're lucky, you'll see some elk, and it takes you all the way to the other side of Tillamook Head, which is where you'll find Cannon Beach. Maybe we'll do a video on that trail one of these days. So Seaside Cove that you're seeing here in the southernmost part of Seaside, popular for surfing. You might see a few surfers. Actually, I think we got a surfer in the bottom left-hand corner there, catching a wave. The town of Seaside is about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes west of Portland. It's one of the first towns that you'll reach taking Highway 26, which is kind of the main highway that people are taking from east to west to go to the coast from Portland. And so for that reason, it's one of the closest places to Portland, and it becomes more congested than a lot of other places along the Oregon coast. It's also unique too because a lot of towns along the Oregon coast were created on the back of industry like logging or fishing, and that's not the case with Seaside. Seaside was actually originally created simply as a resort town, so just a town for people to get away, people to vacation, tourism. So Seaside has been a popular town for a long time. It was founded in the late 1800s. It was first settled in the early 1800s just north of here towards Astoria when Lewis and Clark initially came here. So there's a lot of history here. It's over 7,000 people call this place home. There are quite a few vacation rentals here, as you might imagine, being a resort town. I'll get into that a little bit later in this video and show you where those areas are and where you won't be able to find a vacation rental. That pathway that you see in front of those houses just below is the Seaside Promenade. It goes for about a couple miles. Starts right at the end of Broadway, which is kind of there's a main drag for Seaside, and we'll take the drone down that as well. But there's a main drag where all the restaurants and shops and kind of everybody goes, where all the events are, and where a lot of the events kind of start or begin. There are some major events in Seaside that take place every year that are very unique. One of them being Hood to Coast, which is the longest walking, jogging relay in the world. It starts on Mount Hood and goes all the way to the end of Broadway, like I mentioned, where that promenade starts. We'll get there in just a moment. And like I mentioned, this is in the wintertime, so you can probably already notice that there's not a whole lot of people on the beach. I'll do this video again in about 6-7 months during peak season. Maybe I'll do it during Hood to Coast, and you'll be able to see just how busy it gets here. I would say this little space right here along the Oregon coast probably gets about as busy or as congested as anywhere else along the Oregon coast during peak season or during when one of these events are taking place. One of kind of the nice things about this time of year is that you can still get some really great days, some really moderately, not too cold, not too windy, sunny days pretty much all throughout the year. So this was just shot a couple days ago in November. And as far as attractions goes, this beach, the one that you're seeing right here just at the end of Broadway, this is probably one of the better beaches along the Oregon coast and thus attracts a lot of people. So the beach is probably one of the bigger attractions for Seaside. The outlets are also an attraction. I'll show you those here in just a moment as we kind of turn the drone towards Broadway. That turnaround right down there really doesn't doesn't do it justice in the wintertime. I'll definitely get some footage in the summertime, but that spot right there, I would say, is about as unique as anywhere else along the Oregon coast, in that you see a lot of different types of people down there. It kind of reminds me, actually, and I know some people that are maybe familiar with both areas are probably going to laugh at this, but kind of reminds me a little bit of Venice Beach. Very, very eclectic, lots of different types of people doing lots of different types of things, maybe playing some instrument you've never seen before, drawing, painting, making art or something like that. Definitely some good people watching in the peak season right along that turnaround on Broadway and Seaside. As we head up Broadway towards 101, which is maybe about 6, 7, 8 blocks from here, this is where you're going to find a lot of the shopping, a lot of the restaurants, and also as we come up to this waterway right here, something to note about Seaside is that waterway is the Nicanicum River. There's about half a dozen bridges that go over that river. Just about all of your vacation rentals are going to be on the west side, so the area that we're looking at right now of that river. There's a map online if you want to take a look at it from the city's website, but basically just about a block on the east side of the river to Holiday Drive is where the cutoff is for all the vacation rentals. You're not going to find any vacation rentals outside of this area, and it's also based on density. So if you're somebody who's thinking about buying a property and using it as a vacation rental, we can help you to understand if you would expect the city to grant that permit or not. It's just going to vary. It's going to depend on the property, but all the vacation rentals is going to be on the west side of the Nicanicum River. The other thing to note about this area is that a major tsunami will go right about to the Nicanicum River, kind of making this area probably one of the worst places for tsunamis along the Oregon coast. As you saw from some of this drone footage, you don't have a whole lot of elevation. You have to get pretty far back east to actually get back up into the hills. In fact, they just created a new high school that's outside of the tsunami zone because the old high school was near here. It was on this side of the Nicanicum River in the tsunami zone. Worried about tsunamis, probably not the best spot for you, but as we're kind of panning back towards the east, there are houses back in those hills that you can see back there, and some of them have some really great views. So if you want to be outside of the tsunami zone but still be in Seaside, you can find properties back up in those hills there. Anyway, my name is Seth Marchant. I am a licensed real estate broker in the state of Oregon. I've helped a lot of people buy homes that are relocating to this area or buying investment properties. If you're somebody that's thinking about taking the next steps, you can call, text, email, click the link below in the description of this video on YouTube if you want to schedule a Zoom with us, or hit that QR code and that'll take you to our website. If you're not too familiar with the homes here, you can find pretty much anything in Seaside, from a manufactured home to large luxury homes, to homes that are on acreage, to condos like the ones that you saw at the very beginning of this video. There's currently 67 properties on the market. We do slow down here quite a bit during the winter time, so those numbers are typically going to be lower than they were, say, 3 or 4 months ago. Right now is a little bit unique with interest rates being higher. Inventory has been building up a little bit towards Q3 and Q4 of this year, so inventory is probably a little bit higher than typical. The 27 of those homes, those 67 properties were single family homes. Now we are looking at the outlets, which are a popular attraction for Seaside, for people coming from places like Portland to visit. And just below you can see the Highway 101. Now peak season, summertime, that's pretty much bumper to bumper from once you get into Seaside from Portland, which is probably about 2 miles south of here. And it's going to continue on about 2 or 3 miles to about Gearhart. So you've got maybe about 5 miles of bumper-to-bumper traffic. It goes pretty quick, but this is about as congested as you'll see the 101 anywhere along the Oregon coast is Seaside in the summertime. About 15 minutes to the south of us is Cannon Beach, and then you've got Astoria about 15 minutes to the north of us. Gearhart is, like I mentioned, just 2 or 3 miles up the road, probably a little less known, little tiny town, quaint town though. Best shopping on the Oregon coast will be just before you get to Astoria, north of here. We've got a Costco Walmart, Fred Meyer. Not familiar with Fred Meyer, it's a Northwest store. It's very similar to Walmart. This is the only place on the Oregon coast that you're going to find a Costco, which I know is very important for some people. Now we'll head back the direction that we came. You can see Tillamook Head there on the horizon. And I'll just leave you with some music. This is going to go all the way back to where we started. You can check out some of these neighborhoods as we fly by. Again, if you're somebody that's thinking about taking the next steps and buying a home in this area, we've helped people from Astoria all the way down to Brookings and everything in between. You can call, text, email, however you want to get in touch with us. And if this video helped you, give me a thumbs up, lets me know I'm doing a good job. Feel free to leave a comment below. And if you want to see more videos about what it's like to live along the Oregon coast, we have over 100 videos on our channel. Make sure and subscribe. Until next time, take care, everyone.